What's going on, you bunch of heathens? Like I said in the previous video, we're jumping straight into the Sabaton History video on Father, and I can't wait to actually learn the history behind him, because like I said, I had some questions to do with it when I was watching the video itself, or listening to music, and I can't wait to learn more about him. As always, the original videos linked below. Make sure you guys go and watch them, and without further ado, let's jump in.
Hi from Sabaton.
And I'm Indy Nidell.
And today here on Sabaton History channel, we are premiering a brand new song.
You are hearing it here for the first time.
Father.
Oh, damn. I heard it first.
Not every legacy is easily distinguishable as good or evil. Sometimes it's more like the light of a candle. The brighter it shines, the longer it casts its shadow. The master chemist Fritz Haber's accomplishments have lifted humanity up as a whole, helping billions of people, yet also caused terrible, agonizing deaths and lifelong suffering for hundreds of thousands of others. It is a legacy seemingly caught between ethics and science, between idolization and condemnation, between home and exile, yet also true to his own credo, in peace for mankind, in war for the fatherland. The Nobel Prize Committee of the Swedish Royal Academy announced its honorees for the years 1914 to 1919, the war years. 5 of those honored were Germans, and among them was Fritz Haber. He was awarded the 1918 Nobel Prize for Chemistry for the groundbreaking achievement of creating synthetic ammonia. Yet there was a loud
so
roar
that's
of
how he
outrage
helped
by
feed
French
him.
and British scientists who sent in notes of protest. Haber, they said, was the father of chemical warfare. And yeah, he was that too. Fritz Haber was born in Breslau, Prussia in 1868. His father was a wealthy Jewish businessman.
Okay, so I feel like you could I don't know. It might not. It's probably because I can understand. What's the word I'm looking for? Protesting him getting it, and honestly, probably shouldn't have given it to him. Should have been like, I don't know. Be like, we acknowledge what you did, but we can't allow you to actually earn it because of the other shit that you've done. But 1914, it probably wasn't. I mean, it was probably fairly widespread, but probably not the extent that we. This is still, I want to say 1914 or early enough to where they could get away with doing it. Like, oh, it's not that, it's not another, God, what was it? 4 years at least of warfare, so I could see it.
Who supported early on his son's interest in chemical experiments. Haber studied organic chemistry and physics at the university in Berlin, where he graduated cum laude in 1891 and reached full professor of physical chemistry in 1906. Already then, he was making great strides with his intellect and drive, while boasting that he had never attended a single lecture on physical chemistry except for his own. But he had yet to find his niche. From gas phase chemistry to electrochemistry, his interests were not limited to a single field of research. This would change when he was confronted with what was considered a classic problem, the Malthusian trap, which holds that growth on our planet had a limit since people multiply exponentially and resources arithmetically, and that the Earth's soil could only feed and sustain a certain number of people. Chemistry and the production of potent fertilizers challenged the Malthusian nightmare. But the question of how to artificially replenish agricultural soil with nitrogen that in turn could be metabolized by plants remained unsolved. For the ambitious Haber,
Which
This
is a
problem
big
presented
fucking
the perfect
thing.
opportunity to leave his mark on the scientific world. Scientists before him had provided theories that the fixation of hydrogen and nitrogen out of the air was indeed possible, yet no one had found the correct amount of pressure, heat, and the right catalyst to do so. Without going into detail, it would be Fritz Haber who finally succeeded.
Can I just say, I love the fact that's in these, you have like the standard stuff for the desk, for like set dressing that they did, and then the 3 things that they added for this because it's chemistry. So what do? Probably paint thinner and some other stuff. And it's like, okay, these have the little chemical warning labels on them. Let's put those, let's add these, turn them around so they're there, and that'll be our set dressing for this episode.
Where others had failed.
I find that kind of funny.
Calculations, and by adding an osmium catalyst, he achieved the desired gaseous reaction and brought about the equilibrium constant. Eureka! There was ammonia. In cooperation with Carl Bosch, who'd go on to replace the osmium with an iron catalyst and the industrial capacities of BASF, synthetic ammonia would soon be in full production. What is known as the Haber-Bosch process would literally change life on Earth, as it made today's population numbers possible. So billions of people can thank Fritz Haber. Even at the time, his discovery elevated Haber to the top of the pops in Germany and beyond. And in 1911, as a group of prominent scientists...
Like, not only did homie revolutionize science, he revolutionized farming, agriculture, with being able to do that. Like, that is a humongous thing. Like, there's no understating that.
From the Prussian Academy were thinking of creating an institute for the elite of Germany's intellectuals. It was Haber who was proposed as one of its directors. As the head of the Kaiser Wilhelm Institute for Physical Chemistry and Electrochemistry, Haber would have the first heyday of his career, and science in Germany thrived like it never had before. Like all good things, though, the era of scientific prosperity came to an end, but quickly. The outbreak of the Great War not only put an end to nearly all research that was not vital to the war effort, but it also shattered the previously well-knit international academic community. What was once for the sake of all mankind, leading their research according to principles of the République des Lettres, was now stifled by the demands of warring nations. And scientists were drafted into the chemists' war to build the deadliest weapons of their time. Fritz Haber's research into ammonia was almost immediately of importance for the German war machine. The Kaiser and his generals had planned for a very short war, and German explosives and the propellant industry relied on saltpeter nitrate imports from Chile, which was now blocked off. That problem was overcome by Haber, who was now hailed for creating gunpowder from the air. But this was only the beginning of his involvement in the war.
So homie was... honest, without homie, it wouldn't have been able to happen. He was legit, like, the key piece to it. Otherwise, they wouldn't have been able to actually get gunpowder. Okay. Homie was super fucking important then. God, early gas mask. God, those are creepy looking gas masks.
In the early morning hours of April 22nd, 1915, a greenish yellow fog, up to 2 meters high, crept towards the Allied lines. It was driven by the wind,
6 feet high-ish.
and those who smelt it described its sweetish, chloric smell, which was also irritating like pepper. But those who did so were also soon seen coughing, spitting, and retching. Caught in the fog, men clutched their throats, their eyes red with pain, stumbling around in terror. Many simply...
So 1915. You said he got the Nobel in 14.
Simply collapsed to the ground, gasping
what I
for air. The Germans had unleashed 160 tons of Haber's newest invention, chlorine gas.
Damn!
As a weapon,
that's a lot.
The gas attacked the mucous membranes and the wet tissues of lungs.
Wait, So 1915 was the first in... Wait, hold on. Let me look into this really quick. Okay, I just looked into it. I remember seeing 1914 in the... I don't know what you would want to call it. In the very beginning. But apparently, I'm misremembering or it was mislabeled in the subtitles. But he earned it in 1918, which means chlorine gas would have definitely been well known by that point. So, okay.
Eyes and throat. This was the advent of modern chemical warfare.
Yeah, because the whole 1915 thing where he's like, oh, this was the first time it was deployed, really confused me on the previous thing. But no, okay. Good to know.
No one was quite aware of what kind of Pandora's box had been opened. For Fritz Haber personally,
Pandora's box is a really good
triumph and tragedy. The Germans...
Pandora's box is a really good analogy for what that was. Like, really good. Pandora's box is really...
military called Haber a national hero and symbolically promoted him to Hauptmann. His marriage, however, was reaching its darkest point. Like her husband, Clara Haber aspired to leave her mark on the scientific world. She was even the first woman to get a doctorate in chemistry at the University of Breslau, with her thesis on the solubility of heavy metal salts. Heavy metal. Yet, unlike her husband, this did not open the doors of the academic world to her. Although her colleagues were generally supportive, this was not a time when women often found employment in fields like physics or chemistry. Clara worked as a freelancer, but was frustrated over her expected role as a housewife, mother, and hostess to the prominent guests of her husband. Tired and depressed by an unfulfilled life and a dysfunctional marriage, Clara took her own life. On the day when Fritz Haber was hailed a hero by the press, she was found dead by their 13-year-old son.
Oh, that is so depressing. She was accomplished, like fairly well accomplished at least, in her field of study. She was either the first or one of the first to earn a degree from there, from Breslau. But it didn't open up anything for her, so... Oh, that is sad. Like, that is actually sad. And if having her son find her on the same day that the newspapers in your country is saying that your husband's a fucking, like, big deal or whatever, that is really sad. That sucks.
Haber's thoughts about her death remain unknown, and contrary to a lot of public opinion, there is no evidence that Clara's suicide was caused by her husband's involvement in chemical warfare. Either way, Haber
I honestly didn't even think about that. I didn't even think that she was. I just honestly thought she was just, you know, unhappy with her life to the point where she did all this stuff, but it still didn't really amount to much, despite what it should have done. I mean, yeah, I didn't think it was because of her husband by any stretch of the imagination. I just thought, yeah.
To instruct German pioneers on how to deploy his new weapon. Gas would become one of the most feared weapons of the whole Great War.
And honestly, I would reckon the most infamous weapon of the Great War. One of, if not the most infamous, at least.
Although many of Haber's colleagues spoke out against its introduction, calling it a perversion of science and fundamentally abhorrent, it was not universally condemned. In fact, far from it, the Entente was quick to retaliate, of course, turning gas warfare against German soldiers as well. Haber argued that he wanted to primarily break the psychological will of Germany's enemies, much like with the frightening effect of a flamethrower or a bayonet charge. Once the stalemate on the fronts was broken, it would save so many others from the machine guns and artillery shells of a prolonged war. Until the end of the war, the Kaiser Wilhelm Institute would would continue to produce other chemical agents, most notably phosgene gas and ypirite, also known as mustard gas. Haber introduced the concept of Buntschießen, where different kinds of gas shells were deployed in an effort to act as mask breakers, right? Like one kind of gas would penetrate the filters, forcing the affected soldier to take off his mask, only to then be hit by an asphyxiating gas shell the next moment. Yet, poison gas ultimately did not shorten the war. Instead, it's estimated that by the war's end, around 1.3 million soldiers were wounded by the effects of chemical weapons, many blinded or with lungs destroyed, many of them killed by asphyxiation or internal bleeding. The
fucking horrendous
saw the Entente publish a list of around 900.
Like, you could say, oh, it was to stop the war faster, but I mean, it obviously didn't. And all you did was perpetuate horrendous shit.
Alleged war criminals they wanted to bring to trial. Haber, as the father of chemical warfare, was among the most wanted. The Hauptmann quickly got out of his uniform and fled to Switzerland. But the charges against him were soon dropped, and returned to his institute in Berlin. In 1920, he was awarded the Nobel Prize for his ammonia synthesis. At the ceremony, no one mentioned his involvement in trying to keep the German war machine afloat, nor how his inventions gave birth to modern gas warfare. Many in Europe's scientific community simply wanted to return to how it was before the war. Haber never showed any signs of remorse. Instead, he turned his full attention to the prosperity of his institute. Under the great Haber, it would attract many world-class scientists and promote new ways of scientific thinking, from embryonic quantum mechanics to gas kinetic studies to the transfer of energy between atoms. There were many branches of science at work here. One somewhat funny project called Gold from Seawater was aimed at combating the Republic's growing debt by extracting gold from the oceans. Okay, although based on a huge miscalculation and soon abandoned, the idea showed how open-minded the Institute was to unconventional ideas. Supported by prominent sponsors from the industry, Haber would enjoy another heyday, which also came to its end. When the Nazis rose to power in 1933, they soon extended their clutches to Germany's scientific world. Although Fritz Haber had converted to Protestantism when he was 25,
but he was still born Jew, which means they can't allow that.
He was still a persona non grata to the new state. Hitler personally hated the Jew Haber, who openly supported the democratic principles of the Republic. Yet, Haber was too well established to be attacked publicly. Instead, they pressured him with new laws, demanding the Institute fire all scientists of Jewish ancestry. Haber, who believed that science and academia stood above such differences, could not accept this, and instead put in his own resignation letter. Then
that's how they got rid of him.
Basically banished from the fatherland he had worked tirelessly to save and improve. At first he went to Cambridge University, then toyed with the idea of moving to Palestine. But he could not bring himself to fully break with his German identity. Haber died in Switzerland on January 29, 1934, from a heart attack. To this day, Fritz Haber's legacy remains controversial, at least historically. From a purely scientific viewpoint, his accomplishments in the world of chemistry were indisputably the works of one of the greatest. The benefits of the
there's no way to deny that.
Are enjoyed every day around the globe. But the legacy of the horrors of gas warfare remains a dark shadow over Haber's and mankind's history.
Father. Fuck was that? Father! Gonna close my eyes and enjoy the music. God, it's so insane to me. Yeah, this is the first time anyone ever heard it, wasn't it? Through this video, huh? So they said they were debuting it on this.
Okay, Per, this song is not on any of the albums. Go.
All right, it's actually like this. So we know that you like a lot of songs from the Great War, and we did as well. And it's a massive,
Huge
great
energy.
album so
Yes,
far.
Huge concept.
a huge concept, and there's a lot to sing about.
Yeah.
We knew already when we had finished the Great War that we needed to cover the Christmas truce. But eventually, because of the pandemic, that led to the entire war to end all wars. But we were still not ready with the pandemic, so we still had time on our hands. We were not touring, and we actually recorded more songs. And then we felt these belong in the same universe. This also belongs in World War I, and it will extend.
Yeah, very much so.
The entire tour with new releases that's connecting to the album tours.
Yeah, so the album, the album's been out for a while. The second Great War album, War to End All Wars, and so this is extending the theme even further.
Yes. So we recorded 3 more singles.
So it's like a pseudo deluxe edition type thing. It's songs that we think go with it, but were not on the album.
Singles and EPs. Yeah, well, singles. And they're gonna be bundled into EPs, connecting them. So the first one that's come out, this one, Father. It's obviously about inventions in war. And when you think about that, the first one, the first EP is connected to inventions during the Great War. So there we have the Attack of the Dead Man comes in there, of course.
Good song.
And it also fits in with Future Warfare, about the invention of tanks.
And something interesting.
I haven't heard that one
yet. I talked about in the Great War the incredible technology leaps during the Great War, not just poison gas and stuff, or even tanks, but in many ways the world went from 1870 to 1940 in 4 years.
Yeah, unfortunately, very unfortunately, warfare is one of the leading pushers of technology. I mean, look at the tech difference between beginning of World War II and the end of World War II. War is a big factor in technological advances.
Mobile X-ray machines, all right, how many...
We want to learn, humanity wants to learn how to kill each other better, and in doing so, we learn other stuff about, we learn how to do other stuff easier.
Lives of that safe.
That doesn't have to do with that.
The femur splint, which if you had a broken femur, your thigh bone, in 1914, you had a 90% chance of dying and a 10% chance of surviving. By 19...
I'm glad he mentioned that, because I was going to say, a good chance you're going to end up dying.
1918, it was a 90% chance of surviving and a 10% chance of dying. No, but it's interesting that this is
4-year difference, that much of a difference is insane.
With your, let's say, extended play of that.
And it's going to go on, and in the next, let's say, year, we're going to release a couple of more.
Okay, which I don't know what those are, by the way. I don't know what those are yet.
They are still secret for most people. Let's say we have a song about a hero.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna call that EP Heroes of the Great War.
Okay,
and
cool.
you can guess a couple of them maybe. Who's gonna be on that?
I can guess a whole bunch of heroes of the Great War.
Yeah. And some of our previous songs that's gonna fit into that.
The other
so it's really time.
I'm not sure if York was before or after this EP or whatever. I'm going to assume Heroes of the Great War instantly comes to mind is York, Baron, and I can't remember his name. Someone commented it on one of the last videos where they mentioned, because I asked about York, and they brought up York and another big name. For the life of me, I cannot remember. But those guys, I'm assuming?
It's tying up, and it's also to help a lot of people who missed a lot of songs to rediscover them, to have a chance. I mean,
to go back, because like Carton DeViart and stuff like that.
Exactly like that. Okay. So we're gonna reactivate some of the songs, release new content related to some of the songs, and focus a little bit more on them around the release of the EPs.
But back to
that's
Father,
cool.
The song, but not really the song, more the name. I mean, it's a fairly common-ish name for a song and stuff. I mean, you're not the first band that's ever had a song called Father.
No.
That is true. We sing Father Vår.
But I'm willing to bet that y'all are the first people to have a song about Fritz Haber, or Haber, however you pronounce it. Or if not even that, first metal band to do it, at least.
In Carolina's
Of course,
band.
that's true. That is true. And we sing Our Father, who art in heaven.
But maybe you had some other song in mind.
You know me too well, Per. You know me too well.
I don't know any other song that's maybe Father something with Father in it, but nothing just named straight up Father. I don't know other than this song.
But I was thinking about Glenn Danzig.
That's Mother.
Yeah, I know. But that's why.
Okay, so I'm guessing he doesn't either.
What I mean?
Ah, okay.
And Pink Floyd, Mother from Dark Side of the Moon stuff. But you've got so you've got
Okay,
two
Mother
mothers.
makes more sense.
You've got Father and you've got Father Vår and you've got Papa Don't Preach by Madonna stuff. But wait.
Yeah, see?
Okay, can I
Stuff to do with fathers, sure. But the actual title itself, Father, I don't know any other songs other than this one.
hijack this episode for just a second?
Okay.
Do you mind? I'm just going to hijack this for a second.
Go ahead.
Glenn Danzig, before Sam Hain and Danzig, they had the Misfits. And when I was in my early teens in Houston, Texas, I was really into punk and new wave. But there was the only radio channel you can get it on was local Rice Radio, and I couldn't even pick that up at night. I lived too far away from the university. There were the record store. It was like a 20-minute bicycle ride from my house, Hastings Records, which was
trying
huge.
to get
it was
a certain
the biggest
radio
part
station.
Of this compound, and they had one little rack with 3 rows that said punk and new wave, with 3 rows of records. And I would save up my money because it was like $7.99 to buy. It was a lot of money for a kid then, like if you're 12 or 13 years old. And I would buy.
No, I'd still call that
on
fairly.
What the record cover looked like. And
For a
that's when I got
child, yeah,
Misfits
it's still
Walk
pretty
Among
bad.
Us, because Misfits looked so cool on Misfits Walk Among Us that I bought that, which is still one of my favorite albums today ever, which I still think is the best thing Glenn Danzig ever did. No offense to anybody who likes any of his later music.
I love how excited he is. How he's just yeah, still one of the best albums ever. I love how excited and giddy he is talking about the Misfits. A fucking childhood band that he's loved for the longest time. And I love how giddy he's acting about it. It's so nice.
I liked him better as a punk. I did.
Okay, I thought that you're gonna say that's where I found Papa Don't Preach.
Oh, no. This was before Papa. This was before Madonna.
This is just him geeking out over a band that he fucking loves, and I love it.
Trivia for today. Before Madonna became Madonna, she played drums. She was a drummer. She played drums in a band called the Breakfast Club before Madonna became so if somebody says, well, what instrument does Madonna play? You can go, drums.
I actually didn't know that.
And now, if we can hijack
Hey,
back,
learning more shit.
Sorry,
I don't really listen to Madonna, but that's cool.
Fritz Haber.
Yeah.
And
we haven't mentioned him yet today.
no, we haven't mentioned him. Does he need a mention? I mean, how do you feel? Is it controversial for you to talk about it?
The thing is, okay, throughout history, there have been people that are complete, absolute, amoral, not even unmoral, amoral, with no moral compass. People who have done great for humanity, and I think Fritz Haber is one of those. The fact that there's no remorse for creating weapons that.
Yeah, I think that's my biggest issue with him is the fact that he saw no remorse. I don't think he saw remorse anyway.
That murdered in a horrible way, being shot in the head, you die.
Yeah, that's my biggest issue is the fact that he has no moral conundrum about it.
Poison gas, you can have another 60 years with half a lung and with your eyes burned out and stuff like that. But you cannot deny that synthetic ammonia is one of the great discoveries of the 20th century.
Yeah, it's one of
he absolutely deserved in pure scientific
one of the
terms,
biggest.
he deserved the Nobel Prize for that. How do I reconcile that? I have a hard time reconciling it. I think I would not have liked to hang out with Fritz Haber. I think I would.
Probably.
But
A, I'm probably too stupid for it, and B, it's just homie had no qualms about what he did.
What do you say?
If we travel back in time, we're gonna avoid him. But we're probably not gonna travel back in time to meet Fritz Haber.
Probably.
We're probably gonna look ahead for new episodes of Sabaton History channel in the future.
In the future, we can't wait to see you
Love
guys
Sabaton
there.
History.
Don't forget to click subscribe, and don't forget
Already
to
am.
keep checking your internet for future episodes of Sabaton History.
I wish we got a bit more about the song, about like the making of the song. Like we got a lot, or quite a bit at least. Wish we got a little bit more, but I'm all for the little tangent.
Thanks for watching. Click that little bell so that you get updates when we release new episodes. And thank you for subscribing.
Thank you for making it. This was a fun episode, despite the fact I'm sure you noticed a little cut in between in the middle of the episode. I had to go somewhere really quick and came back as soon as I could. But yeah, really liked this episode. This was a fun one. Make sure you guys check it out. Like, comment, subscribe, tell me what y'all think, and until next time, you guys take care of yourselves. See ya.